The next video we're going to take a look at, we've been talking about for a few days, and I said that I didn't have any information on it for real. And you guys found me a detailed video. Sorry. Hate coughing in my... Y'all found me a detailed video about this singer, David. I think that's how it's pronounced. And some stuff that went down with him. This has been big news, but now it seems like more is coming out. So let's check this out. This is a true crime kind of case.
An indictment looms, and it is a homicide indictment. They had to find something from the body or a witness.
There was some full respirators, almost like gas masks.
A home incinerator? I mean, who has a home incinerator? Have you seen those things?
I think we're going to see more than one person charged in this case.
I believe that her death could go back as far as January.
Breaking news tonight.
Thank you again for the support, Robert.
d4vd, aka David Allen Burke, finds he has money woes. Boo-hoo! This is a grand jury homicide indictment looms. Timing. A home incinerator found still in the box at d4vd's home. Was it purchased at the time of Celeste's death? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. David is finally being considered as a suspect in the death teen girl Celeste found decomposing in his vehicle. What?
Yo, that's crazy. Lestat from Interview with a Vampire. That's who has a home incinerator. Facts. Maybe this guy was trying to be Lestat. Maybe that's what he thought. The way that they be talking, he might be inspired by some damn Lestat too. That's crazy that you say that.
Was she dismembered? Was she frozen? Was she decapitated? What was going on in that household up to this homicide?
In the last hours, we learned that LAPD is focusing in on the time a home incinerator was purchased. Straight out to Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of a hit podcast, Body Bags, with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
A home incinerator? I mean, who has a home incinerator? Have you seen those things? They're huge. They're huge. Why do you need a home incinerator?
Yeah, the fact that there is a burn cage that's even being alluded to here, Nancy, is quite fascinating.
Crazy,
here's why.
That's just
a burn cage can burn up to 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit. Nancy, that's in the same neighborhood as an actual crematory. All right, with a crematory, which works on natural gas, it has to be sustained for about 2 to 3 hours. It can render down an entire human remain. All right. If that's the goal here with this thing, there are actually cases out there where burn cages have in fact been used to render down human remains. I'm not saying that that's what's involved here, but the fact there is one in close proximity to where she found is certainly, from an investigative standpoint, very compelling.
Joining us now, the man who actually first sees the home incinerator in the mansion of David Burke, d4vd. Joining me right now is a now renowned private investigator, Steve Fisher. Steve, I know that you were hired by the owner of the d4vd mansion to find out what the hay was going on inside the mansion after Celeste's body is found. Where did you see a home incinerator?
The home incinerator was actually inside the house. It wasn't even in the garage. And it was still packaged, but it's a 55-pound, device, and which serves no purpose at that house.
Nah, that's weird.
So it immediately raised, huge. Even
Lestat's incinerator was outside, wasn't it? It was like in his backyard. He didn't have it inside the house. Damn.
Huge alarm bells with us, and especially considering found in the Tesla, and you got to wonder what the plans were ultimately to maybe get rid of her permanently.
I got a question for you, Steve Fisher. You state that the home incinerator was still packaged. Did you take photos of it?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you know what kind of incinerator It is the name brand?
Yeah, it's made by a company called Dr. Burn, and their whole advertisement is that it burns at 1,600 degrees, and human cremations are done at 1,400 degrees. So this is meant to reduce things, including animal carcasses and whatnot. And this is something you would typically find on a farm.
Well, I've got a question for you. Why are you saying it's used for animal carcasses? I'm not saying that it's not, but did you see anything on the package to inform you of that?
So as soon as we found it on the outside, it clearly says Dr. Byrne, and we went right to their website, and they're advertising, and other people's using it on YouTube.
Like, I get what she's saying. I don't think that fucking mattered due to the fact of where was he getting animals to burn? And why would he need to fucking do that to him? Like, that would be irrelevant. In this case, what animal? What? Oh, I had a pet chicken. What? This nigga don't live on a farm or some shit? Like, why would he have that? That's extremely odd. I ain't going front.
It shows that's what it's for. Now, it's not just for
it's pretty odd.
It can incinerate literally anything, but this is something that's not even legal in the Hollywood Hills because of the fire ordinances and whatnot. And then, we also found it, with the chainsaw. And so, there's just a lot of questions, and it's a horrible look,
So let me understand, Steve Fisher, hired by the owner of Burke's mansion where he was renting it, you find a home incinerator. What I find very critical, two things. If you go to the...
You say he was renting the property, so he had no need because the homeowner did everything when it came to yard work and everything. Wow. So yeah, that's extremely suspect.
As you're calling it, Dr. Burn, it's original burn cage. There are YouTube videos about burning animal carcasses. So if I looked up home incinerator to burn carcass, that would pop up. Curious. So right there, and I'll circle back to you, Brian Fitzgibbons, there needs to be a full-on digital search as to whether that query was ever typed into anybody's phone, laptop, iPad, you name it. But okay, so I know that pops up. But what I find very critical, Steve, is the date of the purchase. For instance, let me just throw this at you. You remember Brian Koberger, of course, who goes on Amazon and buys a dagger, a K-bar knife that was used to murder 4 innocent University of Idaho students. And his Amazon search was uncovered, and the purchase, and where he looked to buy a replacement after the murders. We know, for instance, cult mom Lori Vallow goes onto Amazon and buys a wedding dress, a groom's outfit, and a ring before her new husband's wife is killed. Amazon is a beautiful thing. So I'm curious, Steve Fisher, when the burn cage was purchased. We've heard about the burn cage. What we haven't heard about is what does it prove? Is it probative? It was still in the package. It wasn't used to destroy her body. But if I can draw a nexus between the time of her death and the time that burn cage was purchased, I got something. What about it, Fisher?
Yeah, so we don't have the exact date, but it just so happened that on January 19th, the owner had an inspection done of the house. It was very thorough with photographs. At that time, we know that the burn cage was not at the house on January 19th. And so sometime between the 19th and, when the search warrant happened in September is when this arrived. And, it's also around the time that the new Tesla arrived on February 1st. So there seemed to be a lot happening at the end of January, beginning of February. But as of January 19th, it was not there. But after, as of September, it was there. So it appears it was ordered between those dates.
Okay. Joining me, as I said, an all-star panel. Joe Scott, you've got a question for Fisher?
Hey,
okay,
Steve.
hold on. Joe Scott, I got to warn you about one thing, Joe Scott.
Yep.
Isn't it true, Steve Fisher, that you were called in front of the grand jury? Can you confirm that?
I can't say anything about the grand jury.
Okay, well, if you had not been called, you would have said no. So I'm going to take that as a yes. You know, I've got a funny feeling that the prosecutor is going to be.
You said there's a true crime case where the killer buried the victim and then left an extremely sus review due to the shovel that he used. Oh, that's crazy. That's nigga reviewed the shovel. Yeah, that's insane.
Extremely irritated with you because you found evidence that the LAPD had not found yet. And I'm referring specifically to the Tesla with the dead body in the trunk of a little girl, Celeste Rivas. You found that and you scoured the neighborhood and got the Ring doorbell cam and the surveillance cam and could show that the car was being moved around the neighborhood so nobody would complain. It's parked out in front of their house. You even caught
Wait. The body was found already?
The driver's face. You still haven't revealed to me who that is. And LAPD or the DA's office didn't find any of that. So I guess she's a little ill with you right now. That said, I have a source telling me you were called in front of the grand jury, whether you confirm it or deny it. Okay, Joe Scott, the point being, he may not be able to answer some of our questions, but have at it.
No, I'll try to make it as general as possible. Hey, Steve, Joseph Scott Morgan. I got a question for you. I've been through this area before, only as a tourist. I could never afford, to even know anyone there. High dollar area. If you rent a place up there, it would seem odd that it would be incumbent upon that person to do their own landscaping work. And I'm fascinated about this chainsaw and this idea that I'm sure the shrubs are lovely. Are you, and you've got this, from what I'm understanding, an unopened chainsaw there. What would be the purpose of someone having this thing? And when did it show up?
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
So you nailed it.
Like a pop star is like, yeah, let me go do my own damn woodwork out here. Let me get this chainsaw going. Nigga, what? That's like, the label wouldn't even approve of that. Nigga, that don't sound right at all.
Exactly. So because I've heard some people say that, well, people have chainsaws to do yard work and trim trees. This was a rental that the owner was completely in charge of all the maintenance.
Hold on. He said what was left of her was so badly decomposed. Oh my God. In the Tesla, it's hard to tell how she passed. Was it like, no, he said decomposed. I'm thinking like, did he burn her? Or I'm not even going to say the rest of that.
Including the pool, the tree trimming, everything. This was plug and play. They didn't have to do any of their own yard work. So there's no reason for it to be there. And it showed up again after January 19th. It was not there because there was photo documentation of that walkthrough of inspection, annual inspection. So it showed up after, between the time of the search, January 19th and the time of the search warrant. But you're absolutely right. They're not responsible for any of that maintenance, and can't think of any reason that they would need a chainsaw there.
Joining us now, Melissa McCarty, investigative journalist and author of The Making of a Crime Reporter. Melissa, thank you for being with us. You have a question for Fisher? Go ahead.
I do. Hey, Steve, 2 questions.
I don't know why I thought homegirl from Bridesmaids was going to pop up.
For you. One is, who were the 2 items addressed to? Was it the owner of the house or somebody else? And also, it's my understanding, the LAPD, they did not take those items as evidence, but do you know if there was any kind of brushing of fingerprints to see if David or somebody else in his inner circle at one point laid their hands on those boxes or collected those boxes, touched them to link the 2?
Very good question. So they did not take the items. We contacted them and asked them specifically about it, and they told us that they photographed them, but they did not fingerprint them. And there was no dust or anything on them, and they didn't appear to luminol them either because they hadn't been removed from the packaging. So as far as who they were addressed to, they were addressed in a fake name, somebody that did not live at the residence, but they accepted the packages at the residence, and we believe just from the investigation we've been able to do that they used prepaid gift cards to purchase the items.
Wait. You're giving me all new information. Wait a minute. Are you telling me, have you told anybody else this? Are you telling me the home incinerator was addressed to a fake name, but somebody in that house accepted the package?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Correct.
How do you know that? Did you see?
He's like the definition of the old school fucking reporter. This whole demeanor reminds me of like how they used to do this shit in like the 90s or 80s, bro. Hold on. What you telling me? This is exclusive information. Like, shut. If that all be the laugh, I'm not laughing at the situation that they're discussing. I'm laughing at the fact that, nigga, if they made a movie and needed like the female reporter, that she could literally be that. Like, this shit, her whole persona is like out of a movie. I find that to be hilarious. It probably, how do you say it? Is extremely entertaining to her audience.
The name?
Yes.
What was the name? How do you know it was fake?
Well, when I say fake name, it's somebody that does not live at the residence. It's the name of a female that does not live at the residence. Yeah, they accepted, they signed for the package through DHL.
Oh, I'm learning so much right now.
So
okay,
who
so
signed?
this guy did not go run down to Home Depot and buy a home incinerator. That means somebody went online, Steve Fisher, and ordered it. Would you agree?
Absolutely, and I'm sure those records are very subpoenable.
So
okay, you know, Danny Rubin joining me right now, veteran criminal defense attorney, founder of the Rubin Law Firm. Danny, thank you for being with us tonight. I was ill. I was getting a chest pain that was radiating up into my teeth. When I was hearing Steve Fisher talking about, nope, they did not seize the home incinerator. They did not seize the chainsaw. They did not fingerprint them. They did not luminol them. I mean, that's bad police work right there. That they just took pictures of them. Because, you know, juries, they want to look at it. They want to touch it, hold it, feel it, smell it, the whole shebang. But then I was hurt.
As well as you can look for more evidence, nigga. Like stuff could be in that motherfucker. Right?
When I heard him say it was sent to a fake name to somebody that doesn't live there, to this address, and it was accepted by someone in that home, which tells me there is a digital trail, Danny Rubin. It proves a lot.
Could be.
I mean, what it can prove is the account that ordered it. It doesn't necessarily prove who ordered it. I mean, when I look at a case like this, I look at who's got the most to lose here. David had to know that if he is the one that would be culpable for this, he'd be the first one to be looked at. My question is, who's the second or who's the third? That's the person I'd want to investigate as a defense attorney.
You would want to investigate them to what? So let's pretend for a moment that you're David Anthony Burke's lawyer. You want to look at everybody around him. So let's just be real here. So you can pull a SOD. Some other dude did it defense. So you're looking around at everybody else. Is that what you're saying? Just be straight.
Well, my question is, what if someone else actually did do it? I mean, his two managers are around him all the time. They're the ones that are economically invested. Robert Morgenroth is actually, as far as I've read, called to testify at the grand jury. And he was recorded saying, why didn't I call the police? Yes, the manager.
Okay. So, you know, they tried and it worked in the Top Mom Casey Anthony murder case when she got her mother, Cindy Anthony, to go on the stand under oath and fall on her sword and take the blame for the highly damning searches for how to make chloroform. She said that she wrote chlorophyll, not chloroform, and that the computer spell checked her because she wanted to get rid of bamboo in the backyard. It made no sense at all. That said, it worked in that case, so I can't poo-poo it that quickly. Brian Fitzgibbons is joining us now. Director of Operations, USPA Nationwide Security. Brian, you also, in your search for people all around the world, are an expert at digital forensics. Brian, what should they be doing right now to determine who ordered the burn cage?
Yeah, I want to applaud Steve Fisher, Nancy, and the work that he's done, and identifying that the purchase was made with these gift cards, that it was delivered to a fictitious name or a name that wasn't at the residence. You know, this is going to provide investigators with a good foothold to begin
that shouldn't be hard to get
these purchase records.
The fuck, this is reminding me of that damn catfish case with I think I watched a documentary on Netflix with some girl that was being harassed. I think her boyfriend was being harassed by some catfish. Spoiler alert. Found out it was her mom. It was fucking very easy to find out, but for some weird reason, everybody in this town was incompetent. And so they was able to finally go, and I think, didn't they get like somebody from the FBI or some shit? He was like, nigga, let's just pull the records. Did no one else pull the records? And they was like, well, I didn't know. Those records, oh. Damn, I could have been an all-star detective. The way these niggas moving, yes, get that shit. You should be able to get that information fairly easily. Yeah, bugging. Are they saying that this case isn't important?
Of what date this burn cage was purchased, on what IP address was the system access. They're going to be able to get quite a bit of information off of that purchase. And I think that you will see that provided that this moves forward to trial.
Yeah, you know what? You brought up another issue, Brian Fitzgibbons. Thank you. I was so taken by the fact that this was obviously ordered online. I wonder if they're going to be able to find where the purchaser watched that YouTube video Fisher just told us about, how the home fire cage can't burn dead carcasses. Question to you, Steve Fisher, owner, founder of Steve Fisher SF Investigations. Steve, how do you know that it was bought with gift cards?
No, so I want to be clear. From what we've uncovered, it looks to us like it was purchased with gift cards from the communications that we've had. I can't say that 100% for certain, but it appears that that's how it was done. But we haven't.
What kind of gift cards? Please say Amazon. What kind of gift cards? American Express, Visa, Home Depot?
Yeah, one of those you go to Target and buy like a prepaid Visa or Amex or whatever, like that. Just something that doesn't have your name attached to it. Although you have to, I guess, technically register it, but you can use that in anybody's name. But I'll bet you that there is an email address that they formed this person's name, this fake name. So and that'll probably reside on one of those computers. And I think they'll be able to tie it all back to them. I don't think these are geniuses by any means.
You said that you can't say gift cards were used 100%, but that you have personally done, you and your team have done investigations that lead you to believe that gift cards were used. You're telling me the gift cards were not to a specific store such as Home Depot or Lowe's. You're telling me they were of the variety that you can go to Target and get like American Express or Visa gift cards. Is that correct?
Yes, right. Yes.
Okay. Which leads me to believe that they were bought at Target. Were they bought at Target?
Oh, I honestly have no idea about that. I'm just saying that, like they're a seller of those. I don't know where they bought the gift cards at, but they were delivered, through a, delivery, so like you order online, and it appears that they use DHL to ship this, item.
To ship the gift card or to ship the burn cage?
The burn cage. The burn cage. So I think it's gonna be fairly easy to track it back.
Okay. Karen Stark joining me, forensic psychologist, renowned TV radio trauma expert, consultant at KarenStark.com. Oh, what a tangled web we weave.
He's still putting on music.
Practice to deceive.
Something I found that was very odd when I looked them up, because I didn't really hear of him before this incident, but I looked him up. His music is doing better than it did before. What? The amount of subscribers he gets on a daily basis on his YouTube channel alone is insane. That shit is wild. I think the label is like moving certain things around so they could fucking extend this as long as possible.
Can't you just see? There's going to be video, right? They have cameras everywhere, specifically on the registers. Can't you just see this merry troop slinking into a store and getting all these gift cards, which is, they think, so sneaky because it's not in their name? I wonder if they paid in cash. Or did they charge it? Oh, I know they charged it. Trying so hard to cover up, yet leaving a trail a mile wide for somebody like Steve Fisher to find.
It's very clear that these people were disorganized, Nancy. I mean, nobody really understood that. How could you leave even the body in a car and keep moving the car around and not think that somebody would notice, especially where they were? And if you consider the fact that she was dismembered, and then you also look at the fact that someone ordered a chainsaw, somebody ordered this burn incinerator, it's very telling that there was intent, or at least it seems that way, that they turned this body, it was dehumanized, and they were looking for any way, according to me, it seems, to get rid of the body without even thinking about this as a person.
Back to Steve Fisher, following up on what Karen Stark, psychologist, said. Steve Fisher, is it true that d4vd, aka David Allen Burke, was going on tour? So if Celeste was already dead, they wait and they wait and they wait, and the home incinerator doesn't show up. They're like, hell, put her in the trunk. That's going to be the argument. Of course, they're all presumed innocent until proven guilty. So finally, you know what? Back up and punt. And she ends up in the trunk. Can't you just see that playing out, Fisher? Then the incinerator comes a day late, $1 short. Should have used FedEx, but no, they used DHL. What about it, Fisher?
Yeah, personally, I think the incinerator was already there. I think this became a case of them chickening out. They, or whoever was supposed to do it didn't do it, and then they just ran out of time. I mean, this is what baffles me about the whole case. We're talking about people that are perfectly idiots, and now how is it taking this many months to be able to put this case together to become chargeable? Because these are not people that pulled off a perfect crime, and this is the part that really baffles me. Is it's so sloppy.
Yeah, his YouTube bubbled. I'm looking at his shit right now. After this case hit, this nigga gained a lot of subscribers, bro. His YouTube is currently earning over $100,000 a month. Imagine what the Spotify and Apple look like.
Yeah, there's apparently not enough to charge.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking foul play with labels being involved, but I don't know. Maybe they tried to help him. I can't confirm anything. But the way that this shit is being stretched out, bro, it's almost as if they want his sales to just keep on going so they can make as much money as possible.
Yeah, I don't understand.
PI Steve Fisher claims he found a burn cage incinerator and a chainsaw inside the home rented for Burke by his manager, employed by the property owner to determine what took place in his house. Fisher uncovered the items still in their original packaging and were unused. The incinerator is illegal in Los Angeles, delivered to the residents under a fake name, and claims to reach a temperature of 1,600 degrees.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. The Fed has dropped interest rates for the 4th time this year. If you are a homeowner, call American Finance. Celeste was killed back in the spring. Her body found in his Tesla truck. She's dead, dismembered, turning into nothing but goo. At first we were told, the grand jury is just conducting an investigation. Not true anymore. Listen.
A recent report said the grand jury hearing testimony about the death of Celeste Rivas was an investigative grand jury that helps gather evidence, but does not indict. Now, new information indicates Burke will face murder charges for the death of Celeste, and the grand jury hearing the case right now is going to be asked to hand down an indictment. An investigative grand jury can be useful to subpoena and then force. Is
he in custody right now, or is he still just out and about touring? finishing the tour is crazy.
Uncooperative witnesses to testify, and sources now say the grand jury hearing witnesses is actually one that will vote on indictment. And these sources indicate prosecutor Beth Silverman, among others, believes Burke was involved in the death of Celeste.
So let me understand, to Dave Mack joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Dave, we were first told this grand jury was just an investigative grand jury that was gathering evidence on Celeste's death. Now we're learning an indictment looms, and it is a homicide indictment. I never had any doubt that this grand jury was going to seek charges. Do I have that right, Dave Mack? We're expecting a grand jury indictment to come down.
That's what everything is pointing towards, Nancy, right now, expecting an indictment to be handed down for homicide.
Danny Rubin, you have dealt with many, many grand jury indictments. I don't know if you're a former prosecutor, but were you a former prosecutor at any point, Danny?
No, defense attorney from the very beginning, but I've dealt with the aftermath.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Long story short, if the grand jury is meeting to indict, not just investigate, that means they have to pick a charge, Rubin. They've got to go with, if it's homicide, murder 1, murder 2, voluntary or involuntary. And then, of course, there's felony murder. They've got to pick between those charges. They could indict in the alternative, which means a murder 1 with a murder 2 and a voluntary or even involuntary, all in the same indictment so a jury can pick. So if they're going to go with murder 1, go with me, Rubin, go with me. That means they either got the COD from the body, which was decomposed, and they know there was either a gunshot wound, a broken hyoid bone to suggest asphyxiation, something in toxicology, a knife nick to one of the bones. They've either got it from the body itself or they've got a witness to say she was murdered and this is what happened. Because they got to indict on those few choices, murder 1, murder 2, voluntary, involuntary. That's all the choices there are for homicide. To do murder 1 or murder 2, they had to find something from the body or a witness. What do you think?
I think if they had something from the body, they would have been bringing charges a lot sooner. It seems like if they're looking into indicting for homicide, whichever one they pick, they probably got some information from a witness that they questioned over the past month or two. I know they're going to be calling back witnesses in February. That's what I read. So it seems like they're still trying to find more evidence. But if they're looking to switch that investigation now,
kids that was blackmailing him with the information are going to testify. So I remember hearing in the beginning of this whole case that was a thing. They were like kids that knew her. That were like the same age that was aware of all this freaky shit he was doing. And it was blackmailing him into like hanging out with them or buying them shit. So I'm wondering if they're going to like make them testify.
Probably because of something someone said, possibly in conjunction with something they found on the body.
Dave Mack, speaking of witnesses before the grand jury, isn't it true that witnesses, at least one, has refused to come to the grand jury? Isn't that true?
Absolutely true, Nancy. And they've gone so far as to threaten to arrest her if she won't come in.
Danny Rubin, I'm just wondering, let's just put together the pieces here, Rubin. A witness stated that she refused to come to the grand jury. An order went out to either bring her in, have her arrested, give her immunity if she was facing charges herself. Therefore, she would have no reason to take the Fifth Amendment from the grand jury, or charge her with contempt. If you're a target, you can be given immunity and forced to testify because you have no Fifth Amendment right to remain silent if you're not going to be charged. Or if you're just a witness, you can be held in contempt and jailed until you testify. Okay, so that word goes out, and the next thing you know, an indictment is being handed down. Sounds to me like they got the witness testified, and now we're looking at a homicide indictment.
That could be it. I mean, like I said before, it could be something in conjunction with what they found in the body. It could be some combination of testimonies. But this is why we have subpoena powers, because both the prosecution and defense, prosecution and grand jury, defense at trial and preliminary hearing, we need that to bring in witnesses who can testify. And many times we can't get what we need without those witnesses. So it's a very big stick that we have to bring witnesses in that we need.
Danny Rubin, you have a question for Steve Fisher?
Lock this nigga.
Yeah, Steve.
If he did this shit shouldn't even be a question, bro. If he did this, let's handle it. Y'all should be able to get the information fairly easily, unless there's some powerful people trying to stop y'all, slow you down.
Investigated the home where David was reportedly living. Was there anything else of note that you found? Anything still in its wrapper? Anything that was looked like it had not been taken out of its packaging?
No, besides those two items, there was a couple full respirators, almost like gas masks at the house, but they were out of the package. Don't know exactly what they were for, but those were the two, most damning things for sure. There was a lot of stuff left behind that was of value, such as the memory card with all the photos, but nothing that really was like, what would that be doing here?
Joe Scott Morgan joining me, professor of forensics, Jackson State University, a star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, we're learning a lot tonight. Okay, we knew that there was a chainsaw. We knew that there was...
You said this is California. You don't got much faith? Same.
Was a home incinerator. We didn't know that it had been purchased with gift cards anonymously and that it had been sent under a fake name. Now we know that purchase can be traced and we can find out, hopefully, if there's video, who bought the gift cards and where and when. What does this mean to you forensically? What can we prove with this new evidence?
Well, I think certainly with the gift cards in particular, because that is something that can be digitally traced. And just let me remind everybody, these gift cards can be picked up anywhere. It doesn't have to be at a big store. You can walk into a gas station and buy these things. So, but the upside with this
it can be traced, Joe Scott, the location.
They can be traced, but you can just get them from anywhere. You probably could get someone to go and get them for you, possibly, right? Especially like when you're like a big celebrity or something. So it might not be as easy as what she's saying, but you can still trace them. It's just not going to be as easy as what she might think.
And where the gift card, they got numbers on them like guns, for Pete's sake. You can find where the gift card was purchased.
Yeah, and the digital evidence here gets very granular. And so it's going to be very specific. You can put a really tight pin in this thing. Also, the initial purchase, the utility of these things, and then you track along with the purchases that are made. Now, I'm going to use a term here, and I'm sure you'll slap me down for saying this. I got to tell you, Nancy, from a legal standpoint, the things I've heard attorneys say in the past with these boxes of unopened items, when you think about the chainsaw and this burn box and these sorts of things, this almost smacks of like an inchoate offense. I don't know. I think I'd like to know your opinion of that, but there's planning going on, perhaps, if they can prove that. And maybe there is intent, but they just couldn't complete the act here. Going back to what Steve had said earlier, this seems like old reference here, the apple dumpling gang. They just can't get anything right. They're just kind of falling on their faces. No one can pull the trigger. There's not a leader. It's just like they push this thing off in the ether, and maybe she'll just disappear. I don't know, because I got to tell you, out of all the cases I've covered, I've never seen anything first off take this long. You've got a lot of elements here of movement with the body, going to Karen's point of disrespecting the remains to this point.
I was saying the same thing. Like, it shouldn't have taken this long. Still to this, like, come on, bro. I would think that things would have been moving in motion. So we get down to the bottom of this. There shouldn't be so many questions.
And then you have all these other elements where no one could finish the job.
Okay, you refer to incohate from the Latin verb incohere, which means in its inception, in its beginning, just starting. So I see this. If any of this is borne out by the facts, and again, David Burke is presumed innocent until proven guilty. The beginning of the destruction of the body went because the burn cage and the chainsaw, and we do know she was dismembered. Where you come in, they obviously did not use a chainsaw. Hey, Steve Fisher, was the chainsaw also still in the package?
It had the protective shield over the blade. It wasn't in an actual package, but it had the protective shield over.
So you think the cops will take it more seriously, considering she just turned 14? Yeah, that's insane to me that it's not being taken more seriously. Or it could just be cops are fucking incompetent. There's a lot of cops that don't need to be cops. People be like, oh, cops evil. No. It's just a lot of stupid fucking cops or stupid people that become cops. Somehow make it through the fucking requirements. We need to hire those requirements and pay them more as well. But then also hire the fucking requirements, bro. Get some people that's serious about their job. But it seems like for some weird reason, in a lot of cases like this, or cases in general, people are not taking it serious, bro. Honestly, I just don't trust them, like, overall, any, like, position of power when it comes to that. Like, even if the cops themselves are good, somebody high up might get them to do bad things. And I've seen too many cases. Remember those cops that was whipping ass in, I think, Atlanta? Motherfuckers had a whole video, and I think this shit was on YouTube, of them molly-whopping some guy because he was dating one of their ex-girlfriends. Them niggas stood him up and was taking cigarette breaks as they took turns on whipping on this man. I don't think he's alive anymore, of course. And it's all on footage. Even the EMS was trying to help cover it up, watching as they stomp on him. Like, this shit was crazy. So, like, when you have things like that, man, honestly, I think that we need to hire the requirements. Not everybody should be allowed to be a fucking cop, right? We need credentials. Like, the same type of shit. FBI and CIA, they not just grabbing niggas off the street. Hey, yeah, take this badge, go on patrol. Nah, nigga, these niggas gotta be like superheroes, my nigga. Same thing with firefighters. Same thing with EMS. Them niggas need to be like top level. They should not be able to go on the TV show The Challenge and CT and Johnny Bananas bust their ass. That don't make no sense to me. And stop hiring these small ass female cops and putting them on patrol. That's real stupid. That's dumb as fuck. I remember I was visiting family one time and had a weapon pulled on me and put in my face because this little tiny ass female officer was terrified. Why are you here? I was just walking through the fucking exit. Just leaving. I was on my way home. Oh, what the? She's like, be careful. I'm like, you be careful. Why are you here if you terrified? Get your ass up out of there. That's not just for the female, the dudes too. My bad. I went on a whole rant. They just need to do a better job hiring. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so it had never been used, which suggests that it's new. And we keep talking about, hey, do you do your own landscaping? Maybe, obviously, he didn't do his own landscaping, but if he had a landscaper and was going to use that, I mean, that could be a defense, but it was never used, which suggests it also was just bought and will probably be traceable. That said, incoherent. I see it as evidence of destruction of the body, tampering with a corpse, which is also a felony, which is a separate offense from the homicide itself. I think we're going to see a very involved and intricate indictment, which deals with the actual death of Celeste and disposing of her body. And you're right, Joe Scott, the attempt to get rid of her body was incoherent. It had just started and it's leaving a trail. The cover-up will likely be indicia, proof of the crime itself. Wouldn't you agree with that? Maybe they just got tired of waiting to get all of the items, the burn cage, the chainsaw, and went, just put it in the trunk, man.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the case here. There's also one more issue to this, and this is rather gruesome. It's not that the rest of this hasn't been. It's just that who's going to draw the short straw here? Who's going to put this cage together? Which, by the way, is very easy to assemble. Who's going to put the thing together, and then who's going to finish up the process of rendering down her body to the point where it's manageable to go in here? And also, they think, oh my Lord, this is going to create a smell that no one is going to be able to escape.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please join us on Crime Stories and stream it first on Fox 1 when breaking crime.
Second person has been linked to LAPD homicide detectives to the spot on the same time frame Rivas died.
They've got a chart at LAPD that you would not believe. They cut this thing down to a timeline that's almost by the minutes triangulated to the location, if you can believe that. And it's not just one source. When I say triangulated, it's media, social media, cell phone, Tesla, other, and I'll qualify, all I'll say is other kind of GPS tracking devices.
You're seeing Harvey Levin's Two Angry Men podcast with Mark Geragos, veteran defense attorney. I mean, Melissa McCarty joining us, investigative journalist. All of the people that lived in that home or were in and out frequently can be identified. Fisher has video of the person moving the Tesla around the neighborhood. He knows who that is. He saw the face. He's not saying. So don't you know that what Geragos and Levin said is true? They've got it down to a timeline by the minute. You think any one of those d4vd cohorts is going to go anywhere without their phone or their Apple Watch or their nav system in their car? Oh no, they travel as a pack. And they're all traveling together, Melissa.
Nancy, I think we're going to see more than one person charged in this case. And that's what's so great about the grand jury phase. To me, this comes across as a case where a lot of people aren't forthcoming. They don't want to talk. So you need subpoenas to force them to get on the stand so prosecutors can lock in their theories, lock in their timelines, take all of the digital forensic that they've been gathering since September, and really piece together what they believe to be true. So I think more than one person will be charged at the end of this grand jury.
What about Steve Fisher? Why won't you tell me who was driving that car? I said in a previous evening that I was misled. It was not misled by you. You're correct. The car was moved this day and that day to this location, that location. I was misled by our own analysis that she was killed she died just before the car started moving. She could have been dead much before that she was placed in the car, before the car was moving. Now, back to my query. Why aren't you telling people who was moving the vehicle? I guess you testified to that in front of the grand jury.
Oh, that's gangsta big.
I'm not even sure what a grand jury is, but the reason that I did it is because I don't want people, if I did say that, I don't want people to think that she was just killed like that. I believe that her death could go back as far as January. And, this person I'm certain will be held accountable, but I also don't want somebody to take it into their own hands because this is moving super slow and it's frustrating. And I just think it's a safer, way to go.
You know why, Steve Fisher? Because I think Melissa McCarty is right. I think a lot of people are going to be charged, including possibly named as unindicted co-conspirators in order to get their testimony, give them immunity to get them to testify. This as money woes rear their ugly head.
EA Sports, the biggest name in sports video games, quietly removes Burke's song, What Are You Waiting For, from Madden NFL 26. The legendary football game features a soundtrack when released in August 2025 that positions Burke's cut between BIA and Alex Warren on the playlist, but now the song has vanished from the list. No announcement explaining the reason behind the move.
Dave Mack, joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Is that why we are hearing about boo-hoo money woes?
I haven't played in years. But I used to love Madden. I think I streamed me playing Madden, busting ass. I was nice in that game. And then out of nowhere, I sucked. I don't know if it's because I took a break. Now, if I played, I would get scraped.
I think it's just the tip of the iceberg, Nancy. Remember, when all of this started, he was on his first worldwide tour. He was only 2 or 3 days into it when everything broke and it stopped. This was the end of the career. No money's been coming in since then, or at least it's not nearly what it was. So, yeah, money woes, absolutely.
So every time somebody played Madden NFL 26, it's a legendary football game, they would hear David Burke's song, What Are You Waiting For? It played every time somebody played the game. Is that right, Dave Mack?
Well, they created a playlist of songs, Nancy. So, yes, it was one of several, kind of like on an album. You know, you have several different artists on there.
Is that a yes? Could you just give me a yes, no, please?
Yes.
Okay, so yes. So every time that song is played, d4vd makes, let's just pretend, $1, a penny. That's a lot of money because that is a huge, huge game in sports video games. He's lost all that money. That's the tip of the iceberg. But I think he's got bigger fish to fry than losing money off Madden NFL 26. If you know or think you know anything about this case, no matter if you think it's insignificant, doesn't matter, so, please call homicide 213-486-6890. Repeat, 213-486-6890. And Steve Fisher, if you have to go back in front of the grand jury, which you are neither denying or confirming, I will make a cameo appearance as a defense attorney and come represent you because I want to be in that grand jury. Okay, Fisher? For free. Pro bono. And tonight, we remember an American hero, Corporal Matthew Snook, Delaware police, shot in the line of duty, leaving behind wife turned widow and a daughter without her dad. American hero, Corporal Matthew.
Rest in peace. Got all the information? Yeah, this is a jacked up situation right here. It's super jacked up. I didn't have all the info. Now that I have more, I definitely could say that it's pretty suspect. I wonder if is he not in custody already? They need to expedite this and make it fast. Get down to the bottom of this. Let's get all the answers. See what's going on. But tell me what you think down in the comment section.